Okay, that's better. I'm going to do a live stream tonight of modifying an Xbox controller for muscular dystrophy. But you're going to have to wait a few minutes while I tweet out that I'm doing this and get the camera set up and junk. It'll be super fun. We'll get to hang out for a little while. Let me get this set up. Da-da-da. Let's see here. Okay. Hey there. I'm just getting ready to start. Give me just a few minutes and I'll get this mod going. Okay. And Facebook. Let's see if we can do live video from Facebook as well. We'll do both again. I have so much power now. My stuff's not gonna die. So let's see here. Say something about this video. Just getting ready to start. We'll get going in just a second here. All right. Getting things rocking and rolling. We're live on everything. Live on YouTube and live on Facebook. That should be enough to get us started. All right. Let's get our stuff together here. Do 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 do. Let's see. I can frame some stuff up for you. Live video has stopped. Let's try that again. There we go. I bumped it. I don't know what it was doing. Okay. We're live on everything. Let's get this controller modified. Just plugging in my soldering iron. You know, the usual. Super exciting Friday night activities here. I'm looking for my T8 security tool. Hey William, not a whole lot. I'm just modifying a controller for somebody for muscular dystrophy. Gotta add some thumbsticks for them. But I need to find my security tipped T8 Torx head. Because I don't see it. It's hidden. Somewhere. Sure would make doing this a lot easier. It's not in there. You know, it's one of those things where you put it somewhere to keep it safe, and then you forget where you put it. You know. Here we go. Those look too big. But they're not. That's the perfect one. Alright, let's take this controller apart. Woohoo! Don't know if you guys are used to partying this hard on a Friday night. But, you know, I'll try to keep it civil. You know, don't want to go too wild on you. So this controller, man, my soldering iron is stinky tonight. Must have touched a cable or something with it. This controller, oh, I see I've gotten comments, but they're not showing up on my screen. It just says 3 comments on Facebook. So I don't know what the deal is. I see that it has 3 comments, but I don't see them. Maybe if I open up Facebook and go to my own timeline. Yeah, I see them on my own timeline. Hey Marty. Hey Shannon. Hey Jason. I don't know why those weren't showing up. Weird. There they are. Okay. Hey Pat. Yeah, I'm the guy from the YouTubes. I am. I published a video today, Pat, about a desk. I did some woodworking, which is rare for a make. These controllers are a bit of a pain to pull apart. You just have to force these side panels off. I had a tool for this, but I have misplaced it. Oh, I should mute that. I should probably put headphones in my phone so we don't get feedback. Let me know if you guys are getting crazy feedback or anything. Yeah, you better watch the one. Hey, Aaron. Hey, Anthony. Yeah, Pat, you better watch that video. Think you'll like it? I don't do woodworking often. I'm just learning. Just starting. But it's CNC woodworking, so it's a little different. Hey, Anthony Stino. The YouTube comments pop up and then disappear, so if anybody's commented on YouTube, I'm probably missing it if I'm not looking at it at the moment. Boy, that last screw is stuck in there. Hey, Justin. Okay, getting this sucker cracked open. What I'm doing tonight is I'm doing the mod where I add buttons to replace the thumbstick clickies. No, this is an Xbox 360 controller, and the screw is stripped. There it goes. Xbox 360 controller, and I'm going to add some buttons here that function like these clickies here, because these are extremely difficult. Oh, hey, I see stuff on, hey, Kirby and Matt. Man, the YouTube comments disappear so quick off the screen. Let me see if I can pull them up on my computer, and then maybe I can answer them there. See them at least. Because I can't read what you guys are saying, and that's just not being a good host. Let me see here. Let's see here. I'm pulling it up. Hold on, guys. Just pulling it up so I can talk to you. All of you on YouTube. I'll be there in a second. Except at once. Oh my goodness. Alright, now I can see the YouTube comments, I believe. Have I modded any of the Elite controllers? I don't think so. Those have extra buttons, right? Kirby? I think those have extra buttons on the back. And I have not modded any with extra buttons on them. These are always a bit of a hassle to get apart. And I'm always afraid I'm going to break them. But they just pop apart. There we go. So luckily, the parts that I need to solder to are exposed on the back of this PCB, so that I don't have to. Oh, they come with lever attachments? Yeah. No, I haven't messed with any. Everything I've gotten people have sent me, so they're just standard ones. So I just need to solder on right here where the momentary switches are for these thumbsticks. I think I actually have a thumbstick here I can show as an example, or not. I had one. It's pretty interesting. They've actually just got a regular old momentary switch next to the joystick. Well, I don't have one sitting around. I did. It's likely buried in my piles of junk. So, oh well. So, the first thing I'm going to do here is add a little bit of solder, because there's barely any solder on these. Let me get up close here and show you. I'm going to be soldering to these two pads right above my finger there. That's those two pads right there. Really hard to see, but that's where I'm going. let's see here. Clean off the tip of my soldering iron. I think people watched one of my videos and saw how nasty my soldering iron was. See, it's pretty now. Oh, that's not focusing. That doesn't refocus at all. It's pretty now. Pretty soldering iron. No more complaints. Okay, I'm just going to add a little more solder so that I can solder onto this easier. And then I'm going to do the same down here to the other pair that I'm going to solder onto. This modification is deceptively easy. It looks complicated, but it really isn't. Alright, now I gotta prepare some wires. Wire. I got pretty blue wire from Adafruit. There's one. And it wants to unwind. That's why I keep it in this box. I should really make a little wire dispenser. I just haven't felt like it. You know what I mean? There we go. Wire. This stuff is wire wrap wire, 30 gauge, which is super thin, and it's a pain to wire strip because it's too small for my strippers. Oh, these might have a small enough spot. Hey, what do you know? People aren't going to make fun of me for using my X-Acto anymore. So I try to tin these wires, which is kind of a pain with wire wrap wire. It doesn't tin right. Or it doesn't, you know, pre-solder very well. And then I solder it in place. And let's see, I'm going over to the right side. So I'm going to need to come down. Alright, so this is where it gets tricky, especially trying to do it in front of the camera. I'm going to try to solder these two wires up here and bring them down below everything and over and through a hole up here. So I got to route them the right way and try not to get in the way of the oh, some tabs in the box lid would be nice, Kirby. So I'm going to try not to get in the way of the camera. As a matter of fact, I'm going to use tweezers. Because I have fancy tweezers. And it helps with my big old fat hands. There we go. I can hold it perfectly in place. Oh, yeah. And solder it. Beautiful. At this point, I'm going to get the hot glue gun warming up because I gotta hot glue all this in place. Now I just have to remember where I put it. There it is. Okay, get this warming up while I prepare the next one. So here's the other wire. I'm going to do the same thing with the other wire. Just going to strip the very tips. You'll notice I'm just keeping it one wire folded in half. That'll make it easier to work with for now than dealing with 4 separate wires. You know, the truth is, this is probably as complex as my electronics projects get 90% of the time. There we go. That one's ready. Let's scoot that out of the way. And let's solder this one in place. Let's see what we got. Okay. All right. It's in place. Let me see if I can't show that to you a little better. Let me... there. You people on Facebook should be able to see that. There and there. And then you people on YouTube, oh, it's even more clear on YouTube. There and there. Little tiny points. That's all that is. Now I need to cut some holes in the outside casing. This is where things start to get ugly. Got a drill. And drill bit. Do. Okay, so we'll move the controller out of the way so we can drill this sucker. Now this is the faceplate, and I tend to drill multiple holes because don't want to mix up my wires. I could just drill one hole and try to label my wires and stuff, but I kept mixing them up. It was a huge pain. So I drill 2 holes and I just feed them through at the correct places, and life is good. But it helps if I can throw the faceplate on real quick and mark where I want to put them. The hole, that is. So I want to put the holes right there and right there. Let's set that out of the way and drill some holes. Okay, holes drilled. Hot glue gun is hot, so I'm going to go ahead and hot glue these in place. I have to be real careful on this one by the left trigger because that solder point happens to be right where the Hall effect sensor comes down for the trigger. So I have to give it plenty of space. So I can't put too much hot glue there. Just a little dab will do ya. And I learned this trick from my friend Platinum Fungi. Get your finger wet and you can smash hot glue flat and it won't stick to your finger. I just licked my finger and smashed the hot glue. Freaking brilliant. I love that guy. Once again, smashing the hot glue with a wet finger. Alright, and that's my son texting me. I have to reply to him real quick. Did I save it or not? Are you there? You guys there? Did I save it? I don't know. I think I did. Okay. Carrying on. Let's see here. Holes drilled, hot glued. Okay. These controllers really want to plop out of here. And if you just give them a little dab of hot glue, just a tiny dab, they'll stay up in there and you don't have to fight with them. Just a dab will do ya. Let's see here. Alright. Now I get to put the controller more or less back together. I'm going to do a little bit more hot glue maintenance here. Faceplate on. And let's feed these through their holes. When I first started doing this, I was taking them all the way apart, and there was so much more work. But now that I've I've got the system down, I just got to remember that top one is this closest one. Now that I've got this system down, it's so much easier. There we go. Move that in place. Let it dry for a moment and cool down, and then we can put the back on actually. I don't even need this open anymore. You know, this is, now that I'm looking at this controller, this is Xbox One, okay. I was thinking maybe it was for a 360. 360 didn't use Hall effect sensors for the triggers. They used potentiometers. Something's stopping this from going on. And I'm not entirely sure what. So let's try it from a different angle. Oh yeah, the battery connectors. I always forget about those battery connectors. They get in the way of assembling. Right here, these battery connectors in here, you gotta slide them in just the right place or they get in the way. That's a hassle. But if you can get them in the right place, then you're golden. Golden, I tell you. I'm gonna throw one screw in there to keep that from falling apart on me while I work on this. And I'm not gonna fully commit to it until I test it. This one screw goes all the way through. This one in the battery compartment goes all the way through to the front cover. So it holds it together pretty well. So now I have a regular old Xbox controller but with wires sticking out of it. And those wires get switches. Switches! It's all very tiny stuff. Very tiny stuff. So here's the switch that I'm using. It's a just a little like I think that's, I want to say 6mm. Little guy. Just a little like 6mm switch, I think. Well, this magnifying glass thing's working out. So the switches, I flatten them out and I clip off two legs so that they lay flat. Alright, then I scratch up the surface. Just using this X-Acto knife to scratch the surface up, give some nice deep grooves for the hot glue to stick in. I will pre-tin the legs of the switches, just like I did the rest of it, or the wires I mean. Try not to block the view of the camera. That one's pre-tinned. Whoa, getting messy. Alright. Let's see here. Alright. So then these, just get a dab. Of hot glue to hold them in place. Just a tiny bit of hot glue to hold them in place. I'll add more in a few minutes. I use hot glue. I mean, it's so ugly, but it holds it in place and it's soft on the thumb. So I'll use hot glue all around it so your thumbs don't get all blistered up. You can see I've got the switches glued in place. Now I just got to solder them in and make sure I get the right cables on them. Alright, so I just got to remember which one. The top one was the closest one, if I remember correctly. Okay, so I'm going to leave myself a little bit of slack and strip these. Not stripping them with my X-Acto. And then I'll solder this into place, hopefully. Let's see if I can turn it so that you guys can see. And once I get this soldered in place, this button's theoretically active. That's a sloppy solder. I'm going to need more solder on there. I'm about out of solder. I'm just going to put a big glob on here. I want a big glob on that leg so it'll hold it in place pretty well. At least till I can get the hot glue on it. Clean off that soldering iron, grab the tweezers, and here we go again. My shaky, shaky, shaky hands. It would probably help if I didn't drink like a whole pot of coffee and a bunch of Red Bulls every day, huh? Okay. I got in trouble in my last video because I stripped this little wire wrap wire with an X-Acto knife instead of my wire strippers. I didn't think I had a small enough spot on my wire strippers, but I do. I got a 30 gauge spot. You learn something every day. Alright, time to solder this little sucker in. Okay, final wire, and then it's all cleanup and testing. Let me see if I can show this to you guys. So, oh, you don't even need the magnifying glass. So you can see they're soldered on. See? And then to test it, I just plug it into the laptop. You guys won't be able to see this, especially if I can't find. That's the right wire. So you people on Facebook won't be able to see this, but you people on YouTube will. I plug this sucker in, and let's see here. It buzzes, that's good. And then I pull up USB game controllers. Let's turn you guys around here. Whoa, losing the film. Hold on. Let me clamp you in. So if you look at my screen, let's see if I can set you up to look at the screen. As you can see, there's YouTube and there's Facebook, but up here is what we're looking at. This is the USB game controller window, which doesn't show a controller because the USB pad that I'm using, or USB cable, is only a power cable. I don't know if I have the right cable downstairs right now in the dungeon to do the testing, so we may just have to assume that I did everything perfectly, you know, as I tend to do, as is my MO. Everything perfect every time. I got all kinds of cables except for the one I need. Yep. Okay, so we're just not going to test it right now. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me. Instead, I'm just going to clean it up, and I will test it later with the appropriate cable. I don't have Bluetooth set up right now. I think I have to get like an adapter or something to do Bluetooth on these. So, what I do at this point, after I verify that those do in fact work as the thumbstick clicks, is I do hot glue basically all the way around these and then covering up all that wire so that when you play it's all secure and feels good on your finger and doesn't get broken. Multi-purpose hot glue. So here we go. Oh, taking a gamble, because if I wired it wrong, this is going to be a huge pain in my butt. Then I'll have to cut all this hot glue off. And this always takes forever to cool down. Because it's so thick. I've left just enough there for my finger to hold it down while it cools. You know, the usual. Alright, once that's cooled and I verify that it works, it's done. Just clean up all the little stringies and I'll ship it back to them. Now this person was nice enough to send me a few bucks for return shipping, but usually they don't even have to pay for that. I pay for that as well. I tend to get impatient at this point and ruin this hot glue, so I'm trying not to. But we are done with the mod. That's it. It's just soldering in a few wires, pretty much. Now let's put this sucker back together. I know, this is the most exciting Friday you guys have had in your whole lives, isn't it? Modifying controllers isn't that exciting. But I'll tell you what is exciting. What is exciting is when people tell me that this fixed their problem. Especially people who have struggled, who have gotten other mods that didn't work. And then they get this simple, just a couple buttons hot glued on, and that works. And that's why I do it this way. A lot of people suggest more complicated mods. Every video I put out, people suggest these really complicated systems that I'm sure would help somebody. It turns out simple ones are highly effective. All done. Make sure none of the buttons are stuck. That happens sometimes. There we go. Voila! That's one modified controller for muscular dystrophy. Completely done. Ready to ship back. Super fun. Cool. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to take off for the night. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to shut down these streams. Bye!